Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the NACTA webinar for today. My name is Lorene Romero. I am going to be your moderator. If you have any questions, please feel free to connect with me in the chat box, and I will get back to you immediately. Today, our special guest is Josh Winston. He is the Director of Sales for National Harbor. He's been a guest on our webinars many times, and he and I are in the groove now, which is awesome. Josh is going to be telling us all about the amazing things that are going on for them and why you as a travel agent should consider sending your clients to the National Harbor area. Just going to do a little bit of quick housekeeping. This is being recorded. And so that means that everybody is on mute so that there is not any background sound that will be distracting for Josh and for future listening. Once this is done recording, we will put it on the NACTA YouTube page, and I will be sending everybody a message in about the next 24 hours on how to get there. Review this if you would like. I also encourage everybody to subscribe to the NACTA YouTube. That way you will be able to see all past and future webinars that we will be posting onto that site. With that said, I'm just going to be passing the reins over to Josh. Josh, thank you again for being here and for being one of our NACTA family members. And I'm going to put myself on mute and look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Well, thank you, Lorene. I really appreciate it. It's great to be back with you and to be with everybody from NACTA. We have a long history together, and this is really kind of an exciting time for us because National Harbor is in a major state of growth, and we're here to talk a little bit about that. But moreover, I'm going to talk a little bit more about how you can make money selling National Harbor as an agent, because although we are a fantastic domestic U.S. destination right outside of Washington, D.C., oftentimes agents want to know how can we benefit from it, how can we make money off of it. It's a fabulously cool destination, but we also want to know what we can do to profit from it. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. We're also going to have a prize drawing at the end. So stay tuned and listen carefully as we go through this so that you are eligible to win a 2-night stay at National Harbor as well as 2 tickets for the Capitol Wheel, which is like the London Eye, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as well. So I'm going to start, and we'll get right to it so we can move through this pretty quickly and get a little bit into more of the sales part of it, which I think is kind of be interesting for most of the agents. So most people don't know National Harbor, and there may be a few of you who are on the call who have been on one of our calls before or may have met me at a trade show or have seen some of our advertising that's now starting to get out nationwide. But if you haven't heard of National Harbor before, don't worry, you're not alone. We are very much a new destination. We've only been open really since 2008, but really in seriousness since like 2011 as a major full-fledged destination with over 3,000 hotel rooms and all kinds of 30 different restaurants and shopping and interesting access to Washington, D.C., to Maryland and Virginia. So I'll tell you a little bit about all of that as we go through here. And I'm going to click through so I can do this here. Okay, so we are located 8 miles south of Washington, D.C., and I'm going to just show you really quickly here how close we are to downtown. So here's the White House where my mouse is. Here is the Jefferson Memorial and the Lincoln Memorial. I'm sorry, the Washington Monument. Lincoln Memorial would be over to your right. And then over here where the circle of National Harbor is at the top screen is National Harbor, and that's actually on the water. So the Potomac River sort of snakes southward into Maryland, and we are on the Maryland side, but literally just over the line from the District of Columbia itself. So we're really close to downtown, and we're an excellent place to stay if you're coming to the D.C. area to stay, play, see all of the nation's monuments, do your patriotic pilgrimage to the nation's capital. This is a great way to do it because it takes you out of the sort of chaos of downtown. It eliminates the hassle of parking. You can see everything you need to see by boat, and then also have time to relax and spend back at the harbor when you're there. So really kind of a great location, and easily accessible to everything in the area. You'll also notice at the top of the screen there is a bridge that goes across here, and that's the Woodrow Wilson Bridge. That is actually I-95. So those of you who are East Coasters know that. It runs all the way from Fort Lauderdale all the way up to Maine, and we are sort of right in the middle. And 95 crosses right there. It runs right along adjacent National Harbor. So if you're traveling up and down the East Coast, it's also a great place to stop. If there are any agents on the phone who are traveling and who are going to be stopping in this area, please don't hesitate to call me. I will make sure that we take care of you. You get to come in and see National Harbor at little or no cost to you. So there's definitely an incentive to stopping here and seeing it, even if you're just coming in on your own. We'll make sure that you get to see everything that you need to see. So what is National Harbor? Where is National Harbor? We're starting to answer some of those questions. For those of you who are map-oriented like me, here is a big blow up of the Washington, D.C. metro area. So you've got Virginia over here on one side, you've got Maryland on the other side, and then the District of Columbia is this diamond, half diamond shaped cutout here. We're at the 6 o'clock of the Beltway here. So we're south side of Washington. We're in Maryland, but literally just over the line from the district by land, and just over the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, which we just showed you from Old Town Alexandria. So you've got a very historic old town on one side of the river, and then you've got this very new development over on the other bank. So we kind of have Old Town and New Town together. So it's a great way to see the area by staying at a fun place like National Harbor with brand new hotels. Everything's brand new here. It's all new construction. And then you can take the boat right across and do all of the history in Old Town Alexandria right across from you. Again, we've got some bullet points here about where we're located from downtown. We're 8 miles from Reagan Airport, 36 miles to Dulles, 38 miles to BWI. So if you're flying from other parts of the country that don't have nonstop service into DCA, you can certainly fly into BWI or IAD. So National Harbor, this is sort of an overview. This isn't the most fantastic map in the world, but it does give you a little bit of an idea as to National Harbor's size. So it's a pretty big city unto its own, because it really is its own destination all unto itself. We are home to the Gaylord National Resort and Conference Center, which is right here where my mouse is. This is a major hotel, one of the largest on the East Coast, with 2,000 rooms plus a major convention center here. But we also have our Residence Inn and Hampton Inn, Westin, our Wyndham that's here, our AC Marriott, so a lot of other hotels. And then of course coming in December, we're going to be opening MGM National Harbor, which will be the largest casino in the United States outside of Las Vegas when it opens here in December. And then we also have Tanger Outlet Mall, which is here. And then there's additional parcels which you see here, which are to be determined what they're going to be, but likely other hotels as well. We're also home to Oxon Hill Manor, and that's what I'm circling right here now. And Oxon Hill Manor is a really fascinating place. It is like an old Georgian-style mansion that sits high up on a bluff overlooking National Harbor and the Potomac River. It was here before anything else was here. It was the summer home to several U.S. presidents, and is actually become a really fantastic place for destination weddings, for corporate events, for tour groups, because it served also as one of the places where John Wilkes Booth stayed the night that he assassinated President Lincoln on his escape out of Washington. So it looks like Downton Abbey when you come up to it, and it's although it is not technically part of National Harbor proper, we use it as an ancillary space and attraction for people who are visiting here, because it gives people a lot of historic perspective as to what this place was originally all about. And it's really great that they're part of our team. So very happy about that. We have a fantastic marina. I know the question had come up earlier about cruises, and we have a fantastic water taxi run by the Potomac River Boat Company that goes every 20 minutes across the river to Old Town Alexandria. And you can see our marina here on the screen, and the water taxi on the lower left-hand side. The water taxi is really a fantastic way to get around, and it's really the thing that I recommend people do when they come to National Harbor, because fighting the traffic, and as with any major metro area, is always a hassle, especially when you're a tourist. So if you can get off, kind of walk out of the hotel, get onto our water taxi, and get off up at Old Town Alexandria, it's a fantastic way to get around, but also it can take you all the way up to the Jefferson Memorial at the tidal basin, and you can get out to cherry blossoms if it's in spring. You can walk and do all of the monuments of downtown DC and never have to get in your car. So it's really an interesting way to actually get out and see DC by water. Also, it will take you upriver to Georgetown, which is a longer boat ride, but it's definitely worth the trip because Georgetown's a fantastic young area of the city, great place to shop and people watch, and great restaurants and waterfront dining as well. So really a good way to see DC overall, but basing it out of National Harbor makes a lot of sense. One thing also, this is a list of our hotels. As you can see here, we're expecting MGM to open in December, which is going to be a huge event for us, but also our Gaylord, which is part of the Marriott family of brands, Hampton, Residence Inn, Westin, AC, Wyndham, et cetera. So we have a ton of hotel product. We are getting even more hotels as we get into the next year and a half, and you'll be hearing about some of that coming up. But one of the other things I was just talking about was the marina, and you'll see here on the top picture, that's a picture of the National Elite, which is one of the luxury rental yachts that you can rent and make commission off of as a travel agent. So if you're looking to do a destination wedding, do some kind of a corporate event, or book some kind of a group in the DC area, we've got inauguration coming up, and we could have I won't get into the politics, but there could be a historic choice made. And if that is made, there's probably the chance that there's a lot of people that are going to be wanting to come to DC for the inauguration, and getting people out on a boat and giving them a tour of Washington is an excellent way to sort of celebrate any inauguration. So if you're looking to make commission off of a boat cruise that goes up and down the Potomac River, our sunsets are second to none, even on the open water of the Caribbean. The Potomac River is very wide and flat, and it has some of the most spectacular sunsets that you'll see anywhere in the country. So a really, really good thing. And the National Elite's a very upscale yacht, but we've got sort of yachts of all different shapes and sizes, and to fit all different budgets. So if you've got a group that is more economically minded, we certainly have the product for that, but we also have the product for a more upscale cruise as well. I talked a little bit about dining. This is a sample of some of our restaurants that we have. So we've got over 30 different restaurants at National Harbor, and I didn't even include some of the select service restaurants in here like Chipotle, Subway, McDonald's, and things that you normally see, but we also have a huge variety of very real individual restaurants that are not part of a major chain. So, and you'll see some of those reflected here. And we have a really big variety, pretty much everything you can think of, from sort of top line Asian food to great steakhouses to Mexican food, and of course really great seafood, as well as places that are native to Maryland, like Crab Cake Cafe, where you're getting real Maryland crab right out of the Chesapeake Bay. We've got all of them right here at National Harbor, so a really great place to eat and dine and play. We have some fantastic shopping, which is, of course, reflected here. You'll see some of the brands that we have here, and downtown National Harbor, which is full of shops and restaurants, is really sort of the retail center of National Harbor, aside from Tanger Outlets, which is our big shopping mall, and of course has all the major national brands that you'd expect at any major shopping center. But the thing that's interesting about Tanger is that this particular Tanger location is the closest Tanger outlet mall to a major urban center of any outlet mall in the country. So what does that mean? What that means is that the outlet malls are usually stuck somewhere out in sort of the exurbs or really sort of far out of most major metro areas. This one is really close, and it's very, very close to downtown DC, and it is right in National Harbor. And so one of the things they were looking at is to see what their sales are in this location versus some of the other traditional locations of an outlet, and they're finding that this is now the 8th most profitable outlet center in the country because, and I think largely in part to its location. So very, very interesting. Also, this is a rendering of MGM National Harbor. So as I said before, MGM National Harbor opens in December. We are expecting that it is going to be pretty busy from about mid-December. We don't have an exact date, but we think that it's going to be somewhere between the 10th and the 15th, somewhere in that week. But we'll be sure to let you guys know as soon as we know it ourselves. But this is really an interesting property. It is designed in a pretty vertical way, and from the layout here, you can't totally tell, but there's actually 10 levels of parking that are already underground before this thing even hits surface of the road and rises above the horizon of Washington and National Harbor. MGM is going to be really sort of a game changer as far as regional casinos are concerned, because this is going to carry the MGM name, and any artist that is under contract with MGM in Las Vegas will also be rotating through MGM National Harbor. So the top line entertainers, and Beyonce's and Pitbull and Britney Spears and all of the big artists that are under contract out in Vegas will be able to come and play at National Harbor, and are actually by contract going to be expected to. So we're going to have some of the best entertainment in the country, and for the first time, that entertainment will be on the East Coast. So we're really excited about that happening. It's going to make National Harbor a nightlife hub, which DC has typically not ever been known to be, but we are going to hopefully change that, and it'll be just in time for inauguration. So it'll be a lot of fun to kick that off this year. The Capitol Wheel, if some of you have been on the High Roller in Las Vegas or on the London Eye, this is a similar wheel which actually sticks out into the Potomac River, as you can see here, and has absolutely fantastic views of our sunset, the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, and downtown DC, as well as downtown National Harbor. You can see from all different angles. It's really fantastic, and they have 42 climate-controlled gondolas. A gondola is what they call the cars that go around the wheel. And for those of you who have not been on the London Eye or the High Roller, these are totally temperature controlled, all encased cars, and it doesn't seem as scary as when you're dangling off of one at a county fair somewhere. So this is obviously a lot higher than that, but the safety is fantastic, and the comfort is like riding in a jet. It's really, really great. So definitely recommend you doing that. The lucky winner will get 2 tickets to ride on the Capitol Wheel, as well as 2 stays here at National Harbor as well. We do a lot of outside events, and we host a lot of fairs and different seafood festivals and cooking festivals, wine tastings, and different marathons throughout the course of the year. And this is a picture of a few of those here, but we can rent out space at National Harbor for whatever venue or whatever party you're looking to throw. We've got sort of the outdoor party space to do that. So another way that agents oftentimes make money is by booking events here. And if they're looking at doing a Red Hat Society reunion, or some kind of a social event, or a military veterans reunion, a lot of times they'll do an event with us at National Harbor and block off certain spaces that they can do a sunset reception under one of our tents along the waterfront. It's really a great way to both earn some commission and also do a fantastic event for your clients. We are home to the largest marshmallow peep store in the country. I know it's kind of random, but we are. Kids love it. We're definitely a great place for families, a great place for kids, and it certainly has a lot of entertainment value for kids of all ages. So if you're like not a kid, but think you are in your head like me, the Peep Store is an excellent place to go visit. They have every kind of marshmallow under the sun you can think of, all different flavors. They've got Mike and Ike's. They've got it's a visual stimulation overload, sensory overload, but it's really a lot of fun. So definitely recommend everyone going there when they're here. We also are home to our carousel. And all of that is down on our waterfront by the Capitol Wheel. So it's a lot of fun. We are getting some new nightlife, and with the opening of MGM, the nightlife in National Harbor is going to really take off. So all of a sudden, we're going to be home to some of the biggest nightclubs and best DJs in the country, and there's going to be some fantastic nightclubs and DJ parties, day clubs and pool parties. All the things that are going on in Vegas are going to be going on at this MGM. So we're really excited about that. But beyond that, on the streets of National Harbor, we've got some great bars. We have a brand new Irish bar that just opened called Irish Whisper. We have a Pose nightclub, which is at the top of your screen here, which is on the top of the Gaylord and has stunning views of the entire National Harbor area and all of Maryland and both Maryland and Virginia sides of the Potomac. So lot of fun things to do when you're here, and nightlife is one of them. We have a lot of seasonal events that happen. These are programmed events that we, as National Harbor, put on for our clients and for guests and for people who are coming in from other places. Some of them include our Crab and Beer Festival, which is coming up at the end of the month, our Gaylord's Ice Show, which is an entire city made of ice, which they bring in ice carvers from China to build this entire walkthrough exhibit, and they have a huge tented area outside of the Gaylord, and they pump in 9-degree air and carve an entire winter wonderland made of ice. It's really something spectacular to see and something that everybody should have a chance to at least experience once. I highly recommend it. I think the holidays are one of our best times at National Harbor for sure. And I tend to recommend people come here in the fall and the winter as opposed to spring and summer. I just like the festivities that we have here at that time the best. But we do a lot of military concerts in the summer. We do a lot of live performances on our stage in our plaza. If you look at the top right-hand side of your screen, you'll see our plaza screen, and that there has a video playing on the movie playing right now. But we show movies there on Friday nights. We do Sunday nights. We have the Redskins games and the various football games that are going on at the time. We're currently showing the Olympics there, so people come out and they watch all the Olympic trials. It's really a lot of fun. So great place to hang out and bring the family, and even when you're here on vacation, just to plop a blanket down and relax and watch what's up on the screen. This is a shot of us at the holidays. This is our tree. So the tree lighting goes off this year on November 13th. And it is the largest Christmas tree in the entire D.C. metropolitan area. It's larger than the White House and the Capitol tree, and it's one of the largest public tree lightings that we do in the entire region. And then, of course, below it, you have a sample of the Frosty the Snowman ice exhibit, which was the theme 2 years ago at ICE. And this year, we're happy to announce that it's going to be it's going to be Charlie Brown Christmas. I was about to say Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, which is my favorite Charlie Brown movie. But it's going to be Charlie Brown Christmas this year, so all of the Peanuts characters will be in it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So definitely look forward to that. Stay connected with us on social. We're on Facebook, we're on Pinterest, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram. Share photos if you've been here. If you haven't been here, look us up and like us on Facebook. It's definitely important that you stay on top of us from that perspective so that you're up to date on all the changing things that are happening here, because we're adding new hotel products, new tours, new things all the time, and certainly with MGM opening, there's going to be a lot of announcements about entertainment, who's going to be here, celebrities, etc. So keep alert on our websites and on all of our social media sites as well. The other thing I'm going to talk about today, and this is going to sort of wrap up this section here for you. This is my contact info, so if anybody needs it, you can take a look at it right here. My cell phone is on here as well, so if you need to reach me and I'm not in the office, that's how to get me. Also, my email address, which is not listed here, which is weird, is jwinston@nationalharbor.com. So jwinston @nationalharbor.com. So that's the best way to get me. I'm also going to escape out of this and talk a little bit about some of our tours. So one of the other ways that we recommend our agents make money is to sell National Harbor by using one of our receptive services. So Mars Receptive Services, which stands for Mid-Atlantic Receptive Services, they are a great company. They're one of many who we work with, but this is just an example for you guys to see what you can do from a travel agent's perspective. So if you sell one of their packages, this one happens to be Christmas on the Potomac. It includes a stay at Gaylord, as well as breakfast at our hotels, tours of the U.S. Botanical Gardens in Union Station in downtown D.C., as well as the World War II at FDR and Lincoln and Iwo Jima memorials, and all kinds of other festivities that happen throughout the capital region during the holidays. This is a really great way to make something unique for your clients, to get something that's relatively all-inclusive. And at $459 per person, if you're selling at a commissionable rate of 10%, and you're selling 15 of these to a group that wants to go to do a patriotic pilgrimage to the nation's capital, you can make a pretty decent commission off of this. In some ways, they're more profitable than some of the beaches and sandals resorts that I know are easy to package and easy to sell, but this takes perhaps another step or a little bit more thought, but it does create a memorable experience for your clients, and it does give them something that's domestic. They don't have to have a passport. You don't have to worry about the confusion of that. The air is obviously a lot cheaper, and it's just a great way to engage people in something that they wouldn't normally necessarily think of as a vacation getaway, but it really is an important thing for them to see. So I challenge everybody to take a look at some of this stuff. I'm happy to email it out to you if you'd like to see it, or I can send it to Lorraine and she can blast it out to the members. But I think this is a way to really sort of, make yourself stand out a little bit as well as an agent, as someone who's an educated agent about what is here domestically and what things they can do. And of course, these can all be customized. So we have different tours. This is a Gaylord Fall into Washington, D.C. special. So this is one that they're doing, which includes a White House tour, and includes a visit to Mount Vernon, which is just south of us, which is George Washington's original home on the Potomac River. So something that's accessible by water taxi. And it just gives you something a little bit different for your clients. Third one here is a Nation's Capital tour, and this is sort of a larger tour of all of the things like the Supreme Court and Capitol Hill and the Library of Congress, et cetera. So it's a little bit more for the true DC nut, but I think all three of them have appeal, and those are just examples. The other thing I wanted to show you guys is MGM is coming along and although it is a massive project, and from a casino floor standpoint will be one of the largest casinos in the United States outside of Las Vegas, it will include only 234 guest rooms and 74 suites. So it's a more tightly controlled room product, and largely that's going to be because the high rollers that come in here are going to occupy a lot of that space. But that doesn't mean that we won't be able to book groups there. We just want to make sure that we know about them well in advance so we can get them the best rate possible. We expect MGM will build a second tower, much the way they did with Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, where they built Mandalay Bay, and then because of pushback from some of the other hotels that didn't want them to build as many hotel rooms in that property, they held the land adjacent, and then eventually a year and a half later built the hotel, quote unquote, which is now the Delano, but is part of the Mandalay Bay property. So we expect MGM will do the same format for this. So expect another tower of rooms coming along probably the next year and a half. But really cool stuff. So 9 different restaurants by nationally renowned, internationally renowned chefs, which is going to make a big difference. So this is going to be fantastic. They've got a 3,000 seat theater coming. These are a few snapshots, and we're going to get more photos of the luxury suites coming. This is a view of the project from the cliff of MGM, where it overlooks National Harbor and the Potomac River. And then as we scroll a little bit further down, obviously they're going to have a lot of meeting space and opportunity for agents to sell private functions, destination weddings, all kinds of corporate events, etc. So all of that is here. So I'm going to toss it back probably to Lorraine in just a second, except that I want to ask a question for the drawing, and I will let her cue that up.
Perfect. I like it. I like that. I'm going to toss it back to Lorraine. Well, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah. You can have half the bone, Lorraine, but I'm going to yank it back. Yeah, this has been a great job. And so I noticed, in your presentation, you have the Charlie Brown characters out there. Isn't there right now? There's a lot of Charlie Brown going out there. I noticed, being that I'm from Sonoma County,
right?
For those who
and
don't,
you're the home of Mr. Schultz. So that's a great thing, and we're getting a little bit of them on the East Coast this year.
Well, and I happen to have been on the Charles Schultz Museum page, the Snoopy page, and I noticed that it said Snoopy goes to Washington, D.C. So, okay, I see it, because I'm working on an event for Sonoma County for NACTA members. We'll see how it goes. So I was checking the Charles Schultz page, and so I went,
Great. Very good. We're very excited about it. It's going to be I think it's going to be a big hit. The Frosty 2 years ago was fantastic. They did Santa Claus is Coming to Town last year, but I think doing the Peanuts is going to have mass appeal. So we're really excited for that. That ice is an interesting thing because it is, like I said before, they construct this massive tent outside of the Gaylord, and what they do is they pump in 9-degree air. So they give you a huge parka to wear when you walk through the exhibit because it's so cold in there. You have to wear a giant coat and you have to wear gloves, and because your extremities would be frozen if you didn't. So it's really a cool thing. They serve hot cocoa and they play fantastic holiday music throughout the course of the exhibit and even afterwards. So it's one of those things you walk through and you just come out in like this childlike, fantastic mood because you're just in Wonderland. It's a great place. Really, really great thing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I do have several questions before we move on to the drawing. Okay. So I think you spurred some interest. And if particularly one person has interest who is a NACTA leader. I know you're familiar with NACTA. I think you've heard of it.
I am.
And we have one of the chapter directors wondering if she might be able to contact you to have you come and do a presentation to some of her NACTA members.
Sure, absolutely. Just let us know. I mean, if you give the more lead time I can get, the better. And but certainly we're open to doing that. And if we can, I love to bring partners with us if we can arrange it. So if I can get MGM to join us, if I can get one of the partners here to join us, I will certainly do that. If not, I can come on my own. But absolutely, we'd love to engage and figure out a way to get out and talk to the chapter. Sure.
Gotcha. Ooh, you just made me think of that. Ooh. If I play my cards right, Josh, and you need to come to California in January, I have to.
That's right.
I might have. And that question wasn't even for me.
Send me an invitation, and we'll put it on our list. We've got definitely would be open to it for sure.
Got it. And could you mention your email again so that way she can write it down?
Sure. It is J Winston, so J, my first name Josh, JWINSTON @nationalharbor.com.
Perfect. Sorry about tossing you under the bus. You tossed me a bone. I tossed it back under the bus. There you go. Fair's fair, baby.
You got it.
Also, somebody had mentioned, and the water taxi also goes to Georgetown from Old Town Alexandria.
It does, yep. So what we would do is you would take the quick hop from our dock over to Old Town Alexandria and just switch onto the shuttle that runs you from Old Town to Georgetown. So factor in about an hour for that trek. I know it's not that long as if you're driving, but the Potomac is, as you can imagine, policed fairly heavily, and so there's a wake restriction in the Potomac. So they can't gun it at top speed like up and down the Potomac River. So it's a leisurely stroll down the Potomac by boat, but it's worth it because the thing that I love about Georgetown is that the trip from Georgetown to National Harbor or National Harbor to Georgetown takes you by everything that you'd really kind of want to see. It takes you by the Washington Monument, Jefferson Memorial, Lincoln Memorial. It takes you by Arlington National Cemetery. It takes you under the Memorial Bridge. It takes you past the Watergate Hotel. It takes you by the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, and then it brings you in to Georgetown itself. So it really is a great way to see Washington by boat. It gives you the full span of the city from one end to the other. Yeah.
Excellent. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can put a couple of questions, merge them into one. When you were talking about yachts and different sort of things, this one person asked, do you have, and my guess is the answer to this would be to call the office to get some ideas, but looks like they're going to have clients having a wedding, and they would like to be able to either rent, lease, commission a yacht so that or a company so that they can earn commission while they're doing all this hard work for a wedding.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, the answer is correct. You would call me directly, and we can arrange to organize that ourselves. Something like a destination wedding would require a little bit more detail and connection with directly with some of our vendors that are here, and kind of figuring out what the right mix is and what the right who the right person is. But it would definitely be good. Sure, we can definitely do that.
And what phone number would they call to reach the office?
They would want to call my line, which is 301-203-4151. Again, that's 301-203-4151.
And don't text him. He's in a different time zone. I have, of course, been known to text him when my mind is thinking, and I forget it's midnight for him.
It's okay. I'm usually pretty good at responding, and sometimes it's easier to get me that way just via text. But certainly we can work out whatever they need to do. But we have a really great team of people here who can handle, and are used to handling big groups. So if it's a big wedding or a big event of some kind, we can get you to the right person to make it work.
Got it. Here's one. I'm going to read it because I'm not able to translate it in my brain. Hey, at least I own up to it. If a client wants to use a ferry to DC and connect with the coach tour, can that be pre-booked with National Harbor and earn commission on it? And the second part of the question is, how long is the nighttime harbor lights cruise?
So that's a good series of questions. So the answer is yes to the first part, which is that you can book the cruise. You can call me. We can organize and book the cruise/tour of a National Harbor through either one of our receptives, if you wanted to do it that way, or we can customize it. And the other way that a lot of agents make commission is they'll just charge their clients if they're all going on a bus together and they're traveling together. They'll do a service fee, off the top and take it from there. And then sometimes they can control the itinerary a little bit better. So if they wanted to do a customized tour of specific places in Washington and in Maryland and Annapolis and Baltimore and stuff like that, they can do that themselves. We can help them customize it as well. And the cruise is kind of a set thing unless you do a specific charter, but it's going to take you by everything that you'd want to see in National Harbor and in Washington anyway. But we can certainly operate a private boat tour. That's no problem. And if you want to be just with the people that are on the cruise themselves, but we can do anything that you really want to do, and whether it's a preset itinerary or something that we create on our own, we'll work together to get you to the right people and make sure that they get to the right place.
Perfect. And the last question I have, and before we do the question, the grand prize, the last question I have is there an off season?
There is an off season, and that is typically our winter. And that, when I say winter, I mean usually past January 5th or 6th or so. Holiday is typically fairly busy here, but we can still get really good rates. That's the one thing that's great about coming in November and December, is that we can often get much better rates for clients in November and December, because the holiday season is, although busy with street traffic, is not necessarily always packed in the hotels, because conventions start to dwindle off at that time. People start to go on breaks and holidays and things like that. So oftentimes the rates are much better in November and December. In February is, I would say, our slowest season from an activation standpoint, because there's not as much going on the water, on the waterfront, and it can be cold in Washington at that time. So I'd say that's probably our most off season. But some people like that, and I'm one of those weirdos that kind of likes the cold weather and enjoys it at that time. Summer, ironically, is also a good opportunity as well, because spring and fall are busy congressional meeting season, and so because National Harbor does operate on a congressional calendar to a degree because we're Washington based, we fill up in March, April, and May. We're very busy. In September, October, November, or at least the first half of November, we're fairly busy with meetings and convention, government business, stuff like that.
Awesome. You did an awesome job. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you all for listening and paying attention. And I hope we gave you enough information and you've got some ideas about things that would be fun for your clients and for yourselves. So yeah,
absolutely. So now Josh is going to explain what the drawing is for. I will explain the rules right now. He is going to do his part. My part is to watch the question box. So he's going to ask a question, and I need you to put the answer, the correct answer will be the winner, into the question box, not the chat box. It confuses everybody. Be sure to put it into the question box.
Okay. So do you want me to ask the question, Lorraine?
I do, because then I can focus on making sure I get the first person who answered it properly.
Okay, here goes. Ready? Everybody ready? Okay, the question is...
That's the sound effect, sorry, best I could do.
How far is National Harbor from downtown D.C.? How far is National Harbor from downtown D.C.?
Okay, Regina. Someone put it in the chat box. I need to get it into the question box. So Regina, you are the winner, and I will need you to put back in that question box your email address so that way I can hook you and Josh up afterwards.
Yep. Fantastic. Congratulations, Regina. And we'll look forward to seeing you here and taking you on a tour of National Harbor when you get here. That would be
excellent. Great. And we had tons of people answering, so I know that means that everybody is paying attention. Woo!
Well, that means everyone's paying attention. But in all honesty, if anybody would like to come to National Harbor and is coming or planning a trip to the D.C. area, just let us know. Email me, call me. We will take care of you, make sure that you get a chance to come in and see it at little or no cost to you, because we know that it's important. You can't sell what you don't know. And National Harbor is one of those places that's difficult to fake it because it's a very specific destination. If you haven't been here before, it takes walking in the first time to kind of get it and understand kind of what it's all about. And then once they do, they love it and they understand it and are able to sell it much better. So we want you to be able to have that opportunity as well.
Excellent. So, Josh, are you going to be at the NACTA convention in November?
I will be. I will be there. So I will get to see all of you that I didn't get to meet in person on the phone at the convention in November for sure.
Excellent. And as a friendly reminder, because I have to do my little infomercial here, it's a requirement of the position, the NACTA National Conference will be November 3rd through 9th. If you haven't signed up yet, please sign up soon. The conference will be 3 nights at the Westin Fort Lauderdale. That is the land portion. And then we will have 3 nights at the on the Celebrity Infinity to the Bahamas. So hotel and cruise prices are not included with the registration. I know, wouldn't that be nice? But no, that's not going to happen. And as a save the date for next year, we have the 2017 conference dates already in place. They're beyond pencil. They are in stone, and flyers have already been sent out. But put it on your calendar already. It is September 13th through 16th. 2017, and that is going to be in Anchorage, Alaska. Awesome place. It's going to be beautiful. Fall in Anchorage is gorgeous. Yes, and I hope to see you there also, Mr. Winston.
Oh man, that is my one. I know you are an avid Alaskan fan, and I am a potential Alaskan visitor. So I would love to come and see it. And it's carving out the time, but I know it's probably one of the most stunning and fabulous places anywhere in the country. So I am aiming to get there for sure.
Put it on your calendar. If you get on your
Okay.
calendar now you go, oh, I got something I'm doing at that time.
Yeah, exactly. I know, and that could be an Anchorage, which would be fantastic, which I would absolutely love. So that would be great.
Well, thank you, everybody. And as a reminder, I will send the link out to this webinar for you in the next 24 hours. If you've not already signed up for the YouTube account, please do, because that way you'll get all the webinar links. And also, Lisa Watson does some marketing tips and tricks for you, and she also posts them on there. So thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your afternoon. And as always, Mr. Josh, it was wonderful having you online again.
It was a pleasure. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye now.